Well, hello, gang. In filming my video series about killing all of the legendary bosses in Baldur's Gate 3 on the first turn in Honor Mode, I thought, why not put together a little bonus content, specifically about this fight. This fight also seems to give some people some problems, so maybe it would be a pretty good exercise for me to demonstrate some simple strategies you can employ to make your foray into mass undead madness a little easier. So for those unfamiliar, this occurs when Halsin meets you here at this rock in this field just outside of Isabel's bubble, and he's got to go into a fucking portal that sits right here, and the fucking portal has a timer on it, and you have to survive that number of turns in order to win the fight. You don't actually have to kill everything. I usually do, but you technically don't. You just have to survive long enough and keep the portal open long enough to have Helson go inside and do his duty. So it's a 5-turn clock. Let's go over the lay of the land. So down here, you've got a little beach and some water. And this water is traversable to an extent. So that's important to know. And some of the enemies will spawn there, but the majority of them come from this little hill over here. Okay? And they spawn around here. And it's otherwise a very narrow column. So, for those of you who have difficulty with this fight, the first thing that should be obvious to you is if you've been collecting grease bottles throughout the game, this is an absolutely great opportunity to make use of those if you want to slow down the pace of play a little bit. So just for the sake of demonstration, I don't always do this. With this party that I've got right now at level 9, whoops, well, I hit the torch by accident. Ah, god damn it. I forgot to shut it off. Go away, torch. Okay, whatever. So, grease scrolls no good because they are a concentration spell. So we definitely have some of those, but because... Wait a minute, does it not require concentration? Oh, no, sorry, it's not a concentration spell, but it only lasts 10 turns. So, unless you're going to go into turn-based mode, I still have 3 bottles of grease. Didn't I just have 3? And I threw one, and now I have 3 again? Anyway, okay. So unless you're going to go into turn-based mode and really time this out properly, what you want to do is just use bottles instead. And you can put as many or as few bottles as you want. It's not necessary, but if you're somehow having trouble, this is certainly something that will offer you some benefit. Just realized I still had the Flawed Helldust gloves on Karlach, and I probably don't want to do fire damage here. I would like to keep the grease in play for as long as I can. So let's switch over to those. It's a barely consequential decision. And let's keep throwing grease bottles. You can coat the entire field with grease if you like. And remember, you got to go right up to the edge or else they'll find a way to creep around. Or maybe that's what you want. What you can do with the grease is you can create a column in the middle that they have to traverse. And a lot of the enemies will line up along that column and get in range for a sexy lightning bolt or something like that. So that's certainly another route you could go. I have more grease bottles here, were we not? And this is just a great opportunity to blow them all, because I collect these and never use them otherwise. Unnecessary. You can beat this fight with a well-tuned party with no environmental aids whatsoever, just for the record. But for those of you who are having trouble, this is a great way to gain a leg up. So let's keep throwing our bottles down. And we're going to coat the whole field. Other than the area to our right, over here, I guess, or behind us, depending on your perspective, where there's water, and the grease will not work. At least it will up until the dry land ends. That's good. Fit as many in as we can here. Paint a lovely grease picture. This grease should remain until it's burned. Or until you long rest, I think. Never actually bothered to look to see how long it will persist, but it's quite a while. You can even put it here on the steps if you want, but I usually leave the steps clear so I can safely move around. Also, the enemies over here are stationary anyway, so the grease won't affect them in terms of movement. But you could theoretically light them up on fire, but that would eliminate all the grease fields if they happen to be connected to one another, so probably not ideal. I don't think anything greasable comes from over here. It's all just tentacles and shit. Okay, so that's step one. What are some other things you can do? Well, on this stage of the game, you're going to have some walls of fire. And if you've got a pure caster that's got level 5 spells, you might have wall of fire spell. Level 5, level 4. I can't remember what level it is. It's 4 or 5. Bottom line is, if you have wall of fire makes a great thing that you can put across the battlefield. Not with grease, because it will illuminate, it will ignite all the grease. So you can certainly time it so that enemies are upon it, and then cast a wall of fire and light them up for some extra damage, for sure. But otherwise, yeah, they don't really mix well together. Conversely, you can do walls of ice, you can do walls of stone, you can do any walls to help either obstruct completely the flow of traffic or redirect it. You can have partial walls so that enemies will go around it, and it will increase the length of their pathing towards you, which will allow you to shoot them more before they reach the target. Little things like that help. Ice Storm, great spell. Absolutely great spell. Huge radius. Of course, don't cast it now because it has a limited turn duration in terms of how long it freezes things. It's only 2 turns, but during combat, for sure. Great option. Cloud of Daggers, another AoE spell, smaller, but they generally tend to bottleneck around the steps here when they charge towards you. Putting some Cloud of Daggers down is not a bad way to do some damage. Plant Growth, another great one. Plant Growth will slow them down. Hunger of Hadar, if you have a Warlock, of course. All of these crowd control elements make exceptional crowd control mechanisms. So anything that coats a surface pre-combat or early in the combat, just pay attention to the duration and you should be fine. So now that I lay down all this grease, I'm going to waste it. Because I don't want to necessarily use the grease to beat this fight. I'll leave it be for the first turn. But I'm going to light it up as soon as enemies go on it. I'm not going to use it for its control elements. Because I largely just want to beat this fight. I want to face tank this fight. I'm just going to use my characters as is with what they've currently got, the spell slots they've got, and just show you that it can be done without any environmental aids. First, we're going to need some more sorcery points. Maybe I'll just waste the grease right now. What's that? 10 points? I'll do another level. Another level 2. Okay, so yeah, let's just get rid of all the grease. Bye-bye. Not going to use it. I'm just going to do this straight up. But that was just an explanation of what you can do if you're having trouble with this fight. But I'm here to demonstrate that if you have a well-tuned party and you're well-rested and prepared, you won't need it. So, what we're going to do is talk to Halson.
You're here. Good. Now, very well. Once I begin with it, I need you to stay here. Good. It took me years of oak farm. It's ready.
Okay. Here we go. So, the kind of sort of cheesy thing that people like to do here is employ a darkness scroll or a spell on top of the portal, which will keep all of the ranged combat undeads from shooting it from afar. It will force them to come right up into its face. But again, I'm not going to use environmental aids here. I'm just gonna beat him. So let's start. Just take inventory quick. Yeah, it's the usual. 2 of the bigger guys over here, 2 doggies coming down the middle, and then a couple of shitty pilgrims. Probably an effective use of resources here is to employ an arrow that does some AoE damage. Let's do that. There we go. And got the guys in the back here too. I think I'll leave Astarion down there to get a head start on these guys. Alright, one more on to do that guy. Okay, let's back him up just a touch. Okay, now Lae'zel's a close combat gal, so she's going to get right into the thick of these guys and start beating their faces. I should have started her there, but who cares? Not going to haste. We're gonna save all of our big stuff for later turns, because the early turns are really easy. And that's that. And that's all she wrote. So she can skip her turn, or pass her turn, I should say. And then we're going to have Karlach step out there a little wee bit, and we're not going to blow any flourishes yet. We're just going to get him with some long-range shots. That's one. Don't have to worry about Sharpshooter being on here. These guys have really low AC. And no action surge for the time being. And my Sork is probably going to just sit tight. Maybe just cantrip. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. Let me just remind myself here. They're resistant to fire and lightning and cold, so it does not matter. But weak to radiant, okay. Just shoot him. Apply some reverberation, nothing wrong with that. Okay, let's pass the turn. Oh. I'm at the bottom. Shadow Mastiffs go dark, so you're going to really want that Voloi in place so when they approach, you know where they are. Whatever. Lae'zel can take some damage. Okay, here comes the second squad. And this is where you have a lot of low damage targets, or low HP targets. And you want to get rid of them fast, because they in groups can deal lots of damage. So your choices are many. Void Bulbs will help here. Void Bulbs and AoEs. Arrows of many targets. We have those. We have plenty of those. I've stocked up a fair bit. Let's do a variety of each, just to demonstrate. So you should have several Void Bulbs at this stage of the game. And I'm gonna send them to... What's my turn order? Oh, they're all clumped together. Okay, good. I think Aura's gonna start this turn. I don't know if I necessarily want to start blowing spell slots yet. But you'd rather have someone with extra attack do the throw for obvious reasons, right? So I think a Void Bulb's better here. Let me just read exactly what it does. I want to make sure. possibly pull in near. Okay, they do get a save. I just don't know what that save is. The more sensible thing, so Astarion, as the Gloomstalker assassin, has the dual crossbows going on. He's not primarily a ranged guy, but he has this 2 spells that they imbue him. So in this instance, it's probably best to just have him shoot down some birds. Let's do that. And you can get the 6th one down with this. Okay, that's pretty good use of Astarion's turn. Lae'zel can continue to bop over here. Don't need a crit. And finish that guy off. And that's all she's got. Now Karlach can start letting loose a bit, I think. We have more of those guys coming in. And they shoot, I think, right? Can't tell. They have daggers right now. These guys shoot, though. So we gotta watch for them. I think an AOMT here is appropriate. Let's try that. Worked like a charm. And 1 tentacle is not going to be the end of the world. I may want to get the jump on those assholes, though. Oh. Yeah, we have the doggies still coming in, too. Can't forget those. And I think I want to use Action Surge now. Yeah, I think I shall. Let's blow some flourishes. We can get those with an AoE. Now that I think about it, maybe I didn't want to do that. Oh well, I did. That's okay. Wonderful. So I'm going to leave her out here. She's going to take a few hits. That's okay. And she can end turn. And I'll lend a hand over here with the shadow. I still do more damage just by attacking it, so good enough. So my Sork will continue to just sit idly by and wait for trouble to come to her. And as predicted, here it comes. Okay, so those guys are stabby. The shooters right there, and we have 3 swingy guys coming in, and then a whole slew of others. All right. Okay, so once again, the lay of the land here. Okay. Probably have enough low HP targets here to have him blow his Scorching Ray. It's probably worthwhile. That might not be enough. Yeah. That would have been enough. Well, maybe not. The 3 might have hit first. And then we can pop off one of these yutzes. Let's do this one. Not going to use Executioner. Lae'zel holding it down over here. Punch, punch. She hasn't used it herself. She's got the Dark Fire Bow right now, FYI, so that she can self-haste if she needs. But I have yet to have to do that. Not gonna crit. You don't need to kill these guys right away. Just lock them up. So they're in the zone of control, which means if they move, she gets an attack of opportunity, and that will probably kill either one of these. So they are likely to just stay on her, and that's fine. Karlak's got the Slashing Flourish left, and of course she has AOMTs, both of which are good here. This kind of seems like it might be a time for a Void Bulb and an AoE. Or like a Hypnotic Pattern even. Something funky like that. But nah, I'm not going to use any crowd control. I'm just going to go for the throat. So let me think. They have really low saves. If Void Bulb is, in fact... let's see. Yeah, I can get all these guys. Let's try it. I don't use Void Bulbs often. I usually just keep them and then... Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's just beautiful. Okay, so let's save the rest of her actions. And now we'll get our Sork into the mixed here. The mix. We want a nice fat AoE. Let's look at their resistances again. Just necrotic for most of these guys, I think. Yeah. Do I care about my spell slots? I mean, like, you could just do that, and that would be fine. Fireball. Nothing wrong with Fireball. But scrolls are here for a reason. I kind of want to keep the Ice Storm Scroll for later. Can I hit them all with the Clouded Daggers? I think I can. That's fucking hilarious. It's not good. This is not what you should be doing. You should be looking for a burst AoE. So I probably will just Fireball. Yeah. Alright, and the reason I wanted to keep Karlak back is because if I needed to do more damage to them, I could use a Fire Arrow here to finish them off. But because I'm Sork, I can also quicken. I think Fire Arrow is more efficient. We've got so many of them, we never use them otherwise. This will take care of a good number of them. It should, anyway. Yeah, a couple. Still a good chunk of them, though. Oh, how did he just disappear? Oh, I'm going to send Karlak right in their face. She can take a beat. She's got HP. She got a bubble. She good. And now, do I want to quicken? That dog is a little worrying. Not really that worrying, but I think I do want to quicken and finish them off because some of them can shoot, I think. So let's just do it. Just a little Fireball. And Karlak might get hit here. Probably not. Okay. So I've got a couple of nerds left over there. No big deal. The dog's going to get hit on the mirror, I think. He's going to... Yeah. I knew it. That's fine. You can heal the mirror, by the way. In case you were curious. Oh, somehow avoided my attack of opportunity. That's okay. Alright, now we just gotta mop up the garbage here. So let's do that. I haven't used any of my Luck of the Far Realms, haven't used Killer's Sweetheart. I've actually been very conservative about my resources. I think I've largely just used Short Rest minus the fireballs I cast, so I haven't expended any long restable resources. And I sloppily let 2 people through my defenses, so shame on me. Yeah. 1 hit did not do it. 2 certainly did. I can't quite get in this. Oh yeah, I can. Nice. Okay. There you go. So for those of you having trouble saving this twit,
No,
that's what you do.
it can't be. Come see.
And great. Got me ever closer to level 10. So I really didn't do anything particularly special there, you know? I maybe made some mistakes. And I didn't exploit the environment. I didn't use any crowd control, really. I guess you can count some of that's crowd control in a sense. I got bodies in the way. But I didn't use any CC spells. I had plenty of opportunity to use the grease bottles that I just wasted. No issue. All kinds of things that I could have done differently to make that fight easier. And I didn't do. So if you're having trouble, try some of the things that I did. And I think you'll do a lot better. Okay, I think that's it for right now. Let's tab out and stop recording, and I'll see you all in the next one.